All right, the Ravens and the Steelers. The Ravens sitting as 4-point dogs right now at DraftKings, a total of 45. They are 4-point dogs over at FanDuel, total of 45. And then over at MGM, 4-point dogs, but 45.5 over at BetMGM. Brett, we know what we saw the last time we saw the Ravens. We saw this team getting blowing the lead against the Titans, and the Titans of all people who have actually been known to struggle mightily whenever they get behind and not be able to close gaps and not be able to score on teams quickly. And that was not the case. And of course, Derrick Henry just continued to do Derrick Henry things in overtime, and the rest is history there. Now the Steelers are coming off of a easy coasting win this past week. And again, they are still in the hunt. Well, actually, I mean, they're in the driver's seat, but they are still trying to get that number one overall seed. And as Brad mentioned earlier, a very, very important number one overall seed. There is a couple of COVID issues for the Ravens. We know they will be without Mark Ingram and J.K. Dobbins. It will be Gus Edwards. That being said, whether you think running backs matter or not, Gus Edwards has been in the system for several years. We've seen Gus Edwards kind of be the primary guy before. This isn't like they're calling a guy up off the practice squad or something to come in and try and fill in this, minimal, pretty complicated run scheme. They run, some exotic kind of looks from the run situation. Gus Edwards has been there. He knows all that. I don't think there's that big of a drop off when it's all said and done. So Steelers, 4-point favorites over the Ravens.
Yeah, I still don't think the market has fully caught up to the Ravens and how bad this offense is. We loved Pittsburgh in this spot the first time these two teams met, but that was when Pittsburgh was a dog, and now they're 4-point favorites. Amazing how the market has flipped, but I still don't think it's flipped enough. I think Pittsburgh is not far better team than Baltimore, but they're a better team than Baltimore. I think teams have come around and figured out what Baltimore does, and they've figured out ways to counter it. And nobody can counter what Baltimore does best than Pittsburgh. So I don't think this is high enough. I think this should be 5. And it got to 5 on DraftKings yesterday. And now it's back down to 4. This line's been all over the place. I think it wasn't 2 early in the week or on Sunday. Maybe it was 2. I think I saw 2 out there, and then it climbed to 5. Now it's back to 4. I think anything under 5, I think I lean Pittsburgh here. That seems crazy, but I just don't think Baltimore is very good.
Brad, it looks like the Ravens will be also without Calais Campbell yet again. A big hit on that defensive line. Jimmy Smith didn't practice, so that's up in the air with this team as well. I mean, one of the things we've just seen is there's just no playmakers on this Ravens offense outside of Mark Andrews. And if your tight end is your best playmaker in today's NFL, that tends to be a problem, and that's really all we've seen from a consistent basis on the Ravens is being able to get the ball to Mark Andrews. And outside of that, it's been a crapshoot every single week. And I kind of with Brett on the fact that what the Ravens did very, very well last year. Well, these NFL teams had a whole year of tape to go in and dissect and study and figure things out and figure out how to counter that. And they have some of the smartest minds working for them. And what they have better to do than watch tape and figure out how to beat this Ravens team with this offense that they're running that really no one else is running in today's NFL. And I think it's kind of caught up to the Ravens as well. The other thing on the defensive side of the ball, I think we've seen is we've talked about this here on this podcast. They blitz like nobody's business. And I think these teams are aware of that now. And when they go in, they've come in with these different schemes of how to counterbalance that and how to counterattack that too. So 4 points on the Steelers, some injury concerns for the Ravens, and a couple of COVID issues as well.
Yes, I would. I'm not involved in the game yet. I would probably lean towards the Ravens. Just checking the injury report now, it looks like Jimmy Smith and Calais Campbell, they're both sort of hopeful they will play. Still game time decisions, but definitely worth keeping an eye on because I wouldn't back Baltimore unless they both played. Campbell particularly because the other defensive tackle, Brandon Williams, he was a close COVID contact, so I think he's out. And they really missed both of those two against the Patriots and the Titans. They just ran it up. They were run up the gut on all day, and you saw they wore down late when Derrick Henry got free to win that game. So if Campbell and Smith do play, I just think that the history of this rivalry is this very tight 3-point games, and it's such a huge swing from that first matchup you saw, which was that was plus 5.5 for the Steelers for a long time. So we've moved like 9 points here, and I'm not sure if things have changed that much. That's a huge swing for teams who we kind of know, similar quarterbacks, similar defenses. So as I say, I would be leaning towards the Ravens at 4 if they were healthy on the defensive side, but it is a tight one, and I'm not involved yet.
Yeah, I just look at the Steelers offense, and I think that it's really going to come down to that. I do believe the Steelers defense is going to be able to do what they need to do to limit this Ravens offense. It really can the Steelers offense, which we've seen go into these lulls at times. Now, last couple of weeks, looks like they figure some stuff out. It looks like that this offense is kind of running again, but it was, if they go for these long lulls like we saw in the early part and middle part of the season, and definitely, I think the Ravens super live at the +4. If we see any semblance of the offense of the Steelers we've seen over the last couple of weeks, I think the Ravens could be in for some trouble here. One of the things about the Steelers team is that they can hit you from so many different ways now. I mean, who would have thought that Juju Smith-Schuster would become the number 3 on this team? And that's basically what has happened now, is he's the number 3 receiver behind Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. And if your number 3 is Juju Smith-Schuster and you have these other 2 guys, and Eric Ebron is actually catching, at least every other ball thrown his way this year. So he's actually not dropping, 47% of every pass that's thrown his way. There's a lot of different ways the Steelers offense can get at you. And Big Ben getting the ball out of his hands really quick most of the time so far this year as well, to kind of get after what this Ravens team does as well, which is, again, blitz a ton. And so I really do like the Steelers a lot in this spot. What do we think about the total real quick before we get out of here at 45.5? I don't think the scoreboard is going to get lit up by any stretch of the imagination, but 45.5, guys, in today's NFL seems just like a tiny, it seems like, what are we talking about? What's going on here? Brad, 45.5 Ravens and Steelers.
I would lean towards a lower scoring one, just given, kind of how physical I expect it to be. But at 45, it looks priced into me. One sort of softer factor that I heard talked about this week was obviously before the Cincinnati game, Roethlisberger didn't practice a week because of COVID stuff. And then he came out, he threw the ball 46 times in that game. And he said how live his arm felt, how fresh he felt by not practicing. And then, watching the tape this week, I know some tape people said his arm looked sort of dead again after practicing a week. So I wonder if it might be not as springy as he would like on a Thursday night on a short week.
Yeah, it definitely. I mean, it certainly could be. That's we'll monitor that as well. Maybe they sit him out the next couple of days as well. Just give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes down to everything. But that's going to be a good day for football, guys. I mean, starting bright and early for us, Brad. Anyway, bright and early for us, and football all day long, and looking forward to all of those games. Guys, as always, head over to thelines.com for all of the written breakdowns of all the games we just talked about and everything that we just talked about as well. All these futures markets are all written over there. And we stress enough. You saw the differences in the lines, the juice, the futures markets, everything that you can get. It's why we preach this time and time again. Go in and get multiple accounts, because you're costing yourself money if you're only playing at one book. So go in, just go to the lines, sports betting tab, click on your state, and there's all the very best offers that you can possibly get for many of these books. And some are giving you free money, some are giving you match bets, some are giving you deposit bonuses, whatever it might be. But take their money. They're giving it to you for the first time that you sign up. So be sure and take advantage of those offers as well. On YouTube, if you're not watching us there right now, /playpicks, youtube.com/playpicks. If you want to follow Brett at Brett Colson, you want to follow Brad at Brad Allen NFL. If you want to follow me at Matt Brown M2. Happy holidays for Brett, for Brad. I'm Matt. Talk to you guys on Friday.